The university offers facilities to students and if you need help, let me know because I am here. You may use your student ID card to attend this seminar. Australia is the first AIDS-free country in the world. Please remain seated after finishing your exam. The faculty staff are very approachable, helpful, and extremely friendly. The brain is the central computer of our bodies. Having a shower before going to bed can help you sleep. The exam will start on time. Please prepare yourself. Elephants spend some of their sleeping time standing up and some of it lying down. Read the safety instructions before using the equipment during the workshop. Advertisements can occur in unusual places, even in the sea or in the sky. We all know there are more important things in life than the rat race. Traffic light colors red, amber and green are used to indicate foods' nutritional values according to the healthy standard. Different colors represent different food types, so that people can determine what to eat when they need some certain types of nutrient. The responsibility to label food properly on the packages is on the retailers. Thus consumers can be aware of food with less salt or less fat. This system makes it easier for consumer to make decisions. In short, the more green on the label, the healthier the choice. If you buy a food that has all or mostly green on the label, you know straight away that it's a healthier choice. Amber means neither high nor low, so you can eat foods with all or mostly amber on the label most of the time. But any red on the label means the food is high in fat, saturated fat, salt or sugars, and these are the foods we should cut down on. Aquaculture, the farming of fish, shrimp, shellfish and seaweeds, has been the sources of human protein for nearly 4,000 years, especially in Asia. In the last decade, however, there has been unprecedented growth in aquaculture production, more than 300% since 1984, which has increased the importance of the modern food supply. It's the world's fastest growing food production activity. And globally, more than 25% of the odd fishing and shellfish production in 1999 was attributable to aquaculture. Yes, this industry's contributions to human diet is actually greater than the numbers imply, whereas 1/3 of the conventional fish catch is used to make fish meal and fish oil. Virtually all farmed fish are used as human food. Today, nearly 1/3 of fish consumed by human is the product of aquaculture, and that percentage will only increase as aquaculture expands the world's conventional fish catch, for the oceans and lakes continues to decline because of overfishing and environmental damage. I think with our linguistic training we also get all this invisible training to be authorities, to be the people who know. It is part of that process that you come out as a world authority on your chosen subject. But when we move into working with communities, we have to recognize that the communities have to be the authority in their language. Actually, a woman in the class I'm teaching at Sydney at the moment, a career woman, expressed this very nicely. Although she was talking about something else, she was distinguishing expertise from authority. And certainly linguists, because of our training we do, have expertise in certain very narrow areas of language, but we don't have the authority over what to do with that knowledge or what to do with other knowledge that the community produces. I guess for me the bottom line is languages are lost because of the dominance of one people over another. That's not rocket science, it's not hard to work that out. But then what that means is if in working with language revival we continue to hold the authority, we actually haven't done anything towards undoing how languages are lost in the first place, so in a sense the languages are still lost if the authority is still lost. Our civilization, which subsumes most of its predecessors, is a great ship steaming at speed into the future. It travels faster, further, and more laden than any before. We may not be able to foresee every reef and hazard, but by reading her compass bearing and headway, by understanding her design, her safety record, and the abilities of her crew, we can, I think, plot a wise course between the narrows and bergs looming ahead. And I believe we must do this without delay, because there are too many shipwrecks behind us. The vessel we are now aboard is not merely the biggest of all time, it is also the only one left. The future of everything we have accomplished since our intelligence evolved will depend on the wisdom of our actions over the next few years. Like all creatures, humans have made their way in the world so far by trial and error. Unlike other creatures, we have a presence so colossal that error is a luxury we can no longer afford. The world has grown too small to forgive us any big mistakes. What do you call the money you pay for speeding on the road? What do eyes produce while crying? What is the feeling of wanting something that someone else has? What does melting snow turn into? How do we describe a person who enjoys the company of others? What do you call a doctor who specializes in children's diseases? What do we call a person who fights against the government? What do we call a room or building where dead bodies are kept before they are buried? How do we describe a person unable to pay his or her debts? What do we call a book containing writings on a particular theme?
Whether flu or coronavirus, it can take several days for the body to ramp up an effective response to a viral infection. New research describes how different cells in the immune system work together, communicate, and, in the case of cells called neutrophils, bring about their own death to help fight off infections. The findings could have important implications for the development of vaccines and antiviral therapies.
The ritual of the state opening of Parliament still illustrates the basis of the British Constitution. The sovereignty of the royal family has passed to the sovereignty of Parliament, leaving the monarchy with the trappings of power, while prime ministers are still denied the kind of status that is given to American and French presidents.
For diplomacy, the starting point must be that globalization requires bridges and removes barriers. A policy of containment is a difficult strategy in the age of the fiber optic cable, the jumbo jet and the satellite dish. There will always be the exception, such as the murderous regime in Iraq, where the only safe strategy is to keep it in the isolation ward until it accepts the norms of international behavior, or the military dictatorship in Burma, which has persistently failed to respond to dialogue. It takes two to critically engage.
Investigators also compared those microbes with those living in 52 other soil samples taken from all around the planet. The park had organisms that also exist in deserts, frozen tundra, forests, rainforests, and prairies. Antarctica was the only area that had microbes that did not overlap with those found in Central Park. Only a small percentage of the park's microbes were found to be already listed in databases.
The fact is that those different types of services affect many different dimensions of well-being of people. And defining the human well-being is also extremely challenging. However, we identified that there are certain items providing basic material for life, whether it is food, shelter or happiness.
Training to become an actor is an intensive process which requires curiosity, courage, and commitment. You'll learn how to prepare for rehearsal, how to rehearse, and how to use independent and proactive processes to achieve your best work possible for stage and screen. The university offers facilities to students and if you need help, let me know because I am here. You may use your student ID card to attend this seminar. Australia is the first AIDS-free country in the world. Please remain seated after finishing your exam. The faculty staff are very approachable, helpful, and extremely friendly. The brain is the central computer of our bodies. Having a shower before going to bed can help you sleep. The exam will start on time, please prepare yourself. Elephants spend some of their sleeping time standing up and some of it lying down. Read the safety instructions before using the equipment during the workshop. Advertisements can occur in unusual places, even in the sea or in the sky. We all know there are more important things in life than the rat race. What do you call the money you pay for speeding on the road? Answer: fine. What do eyes produce while crying? Answer: tear or tears. What is the feeling of wanting something that someone else has? Answer: envy or jealousy. What does melting snow turn into? Answer: water. How do we describe a person who enjoys the company of others? Answer: extrovert. What do you call a doctor who specializes in children's diseases? Answer: pediatrician. What do we call a person who fights against the government? Answer: rebel. What do we call a room or building where dead bodies are kept before they are buried? Answer: mortuary. How do we describe a person unable to pay his or her debts? Answer: insolvent or bankrupt. What do we call a book containing writings on a particular theme? Answer: compilation.